Beautiful question. Some of the greatest questions you guys have ever asked, in the words of Donald Trump.
That's crazy.
And for instance, how do you know the difference between living in fear and God is calling you to move in something or to step back? How do you know what God has called you to do? Questions like, why do Catholics believe in the Immaculate Conception when Romans 3:23 says, for all have sinned? And then also, we had somebody ask, how did you get saved? How did you come to know Jesus? We're going to be answering these questions as we're driving, as we're stopping in different locations, and we're going to let you get a sneak peek of the conference. Yeah.
Brown, lie down. Black, attack.
Very good.
When you're in the Sierra Nevadas. I just want
kind
you.
of racist, but
Oh.
and she's
Drugs
12.
are not a joke,
She's
kids.
12.
Drugs. She is 12. Drugs are not a joke.
I really wanted it to get them. You ever really want somebody to like get hit by the red light just so you could be vindicated? No, come on. You know that's true. You're watching. You're like, ooh, you're gonna hit that, and they make the yellow light. You're like, oh, God. What's up, everybody? Thanks for watching Q&A with L&J. We are headed to a youth conference, United Conference at City Life Church in San Francisco, and we're just gonna hang out with some fam there. We're gonna hang out with some friends. And while we're going, we're going to answer some of your questions. Great questions, by the way. Beautiful questions. Some of the greatest questions you guys have ever asked, in the words of Donald Trump.
That's crazy.
What did I say? Oh, you just gave me a cute smile? Oh, hey. And we're going to give you a little sneak peek of what's going on. So, enjoy hanging out with us while we go to this conference. Let's go. We're here in the Sierra Nevada wilderness. This is where...
I am a wilderness explorer.
This is where Chance and Sassy and Shadow got lost.
These mountains?
He said the Sierra Nevadas.
Do we have mountain lions like they have in that movie?
Heck yeah.
That big?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, we do.
That thing is huge.
I know.
It's an actual lion.
I mean, it's not as big as a lion, but...
It's huge.
You wouldn't want to face one of that.
I guess I always just thought they were like smaller.
You're thinking of bobcats.
Yeah.
Bobcats
We
are
have
smaller.
mountain lions like that
mountain
here?
lions, yes.
We don't have grizzly bears.
Not grizzly bears.
We have brown bears and black bears.
Black bears, yeah. Yeah.
Brown, lie down. Black, attack.
Very good.
When you're in the Sierra Nevadas. I just want
kind
you.
of racist, but...
Oh. That's crazy. I can't.
Yeah, we're stuck in traffic, heading to...
With the mountain lions, guys.
With the mountain lions.
If we see one, I will have lived a full life.
It's pretty... it'd be legit to see.
I actually have a picture of me petting one.
I know.
I wish I could remember it. Instead
What
of
it
just a
felt like?
picture. Yeah.
Oh.
That thing was so drugged.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It was April 20th when she was petting this lion.
What?
Because you said it was drugged. 420?
Are you going to cut that?
No.
Please cut that.
Why?
That's not appropriate for all ages.
Why not? What age is it not appropriate for?
Our 11-year-old daughter that enjoys the app.
She definitely knows what drugs are.
Okay.
And she's 12.
Drugs are not a joke,
She's
kids.
12.
Drugs. She is 12. Drugs are not a joke.
We're gonna give you, let's say, 2 questions while we're sitting here in traffic. Some of them are easy. Let's start with a fun one. What's a fun one? Let's talk about how you got saved.
I'm also doing work while I'm in the car. You talk about getting saved first. You were saved as soon as you came out of the womb.
False. We are born in sin. So
I didn't say you weren't sinful. You were just rescued from your infantile sin nature.
It is true. Well, according to Catholics, that didn't happen because I wasn't baptized as an infant. Anyways,
I'm not a Catholic.
okay, so I got saved. Actually, my parents were Christians. I was born into a Christian family. My parents were not Christians when they got married. And I think it was about 3 years into their marriage. I could be wrong about the exact number, but a little bit into their marriage, they encountered the Lord and they got saved, like radically saved. Like my dad was addicted to chewing tobacco and was saved, like his addiction was broken, boom, on the spot, and never chewed again. Just radical salvation for my parents, baptized in the Holy Spirit. It was incredible. And when I got saved, though, I remember as a 5-year-old, and this I would say speaks to what my wife does as a kids pastor. But as a 5-year-old, I remember sitting in some service, and there was a puppet show. There was a puppet show, and it involved a coyote and them talking about Jesus. And they gave an altar call, and I remember just weeping. And I walked into the front.
If you're in a church serving kids ministry, this matters right here.
This matters, right? Going to the front, weeping, giving my life to Jesus. And even though it sounds kind of crazy, my life changed. And you're like, what could possibly change as a 5-year-old? I don't know, but all of a sudden, like,
Have you met a naughty 5-year-old?
But I wasn't a naughty 5-year-old. But all of a sudden, I could feel I'm not saying I wasn't like mischievous, but I was naughty. I could feel the presence of God with me constantly. And I will say that is something that really hasn't changed for me, except for maybe during middle school. Middle school was rough. Middle school was like the
shout out
years,
to all of our middle schoolers.
The silent years of God, where I felt like I couldn't hear him, feel him, nothing. And the only thing that probably kept me close to God was the fact that I was scared to do anything bad because I thought that God would strike me down. Not saying that's a good way to live, but it worked for me in the moment. And so I remember just like giving my life to Jesus, and I remember sitting in my bed telling my dad, I don't want to go to sleep because I just want to talk to God and worship. And my dad was like, well, you got to go to sleep, buddy. And I remember my these times being with God, just crying as I could feel the presence of God with me in my room. I remember talking to kids on the playground about Jesus and getting so angry because I knew this girl was about to accept the Lord. And right before I was going to pray with her, her mom called her in for dinner. And I was so mad. I was like, this was about to happen.
You like Hulk smash.
Oh, dude, I was so angry. But it was like, I remember this as a small kid. And again, I'm saying this because like age doesn't matter with God. He will use you, whatever age you are. And even little kids can encounter the presence of God and know him in a real way. And so I went through middle school. And then in middle school, it was, again, like dead zone. The only thing that really kept me was, I remember I couldn't date till I was 16. And girls would talk to me. Not the ones I wanted to talk to me. No girls that I liked me. Okay, only the girls I didn't liked me. And not in middle school. You weren't there in middle school.
I wasn't there in middle school.
And so I remember I would always tell him, I
school?
can't date. I was like, I can't date. It's against my religion.
I was in 2nd grade when he was in middle school.
Yeah. Everything I couldn't do, I would tell him it's against my religion. Not I couldn't, not I don't want to, not I don't feel like I should. Everything's against my religion.
I don't feel like that's a bad excuse.
Well, I mean, it wasn't mine.
Okay.
And then when I was 15 years old, I wasn't a bad kid. I was just living and breathing, trying to fit in, but not be bad at the same time. And I remember the Holy Spirit just kind of spoke to me as I walked across campus, and he just said, you're either going to follow me or you're not. And I made a decision right then that I was going to follow Jesus, like it was a fresh rededication of my life to the Lord. And the reason why I did was because I had seen how other people lived who didn't follow Jesus, and there was nothing about that life that made me go, yeah, it's worth it. Like the brokenness, the addiction, the divorce, like all the things that I had seen in the lives of people that didn't follow Jesus, I was like, I don't want that. So I guess I'm going to follow Jesus. And Haven't been perfect, but I have followed Jesus for 35 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Tell us your story.
I decided to follow Jesus, or in church lingo, got saved, when I was 9. And my parents, my mom and my stepdad, had just started going back to church pretty consistently, getting involved in church. They started taking me and my brother, who was very small at the time, to church. And they had come out of addiction and just different stuff like that. They'd really they recommitted their lives to God because they'd grown up kind of understanding about God and going to church, but not active in that until they both decided we're following God. And so then they started taking me, and I remember we were driving home from school one day, I think, and my mom, we were in her super, super old Toyota Camry, and I had asked her a question, why did Jesus have to die? And that led my mom to explaining the gospel and the payment for sin being death, and we all sin and that we all fall short of the glory of God, and it's only Jesus who can make that payment, and here's why. And I just remember it really struck me as a little kid, oh, I need that. And my mom, I remember where we were, she had taken an extra couple of loops around the neighborhood to just talk to me while we were driving. And she said, do you want to accept Jesus? Do you believe what I'm telling you? And I said, yeah. And we prayed in that moment. And that kind of began that journey for me. I would say I had had experiences with God before that, where when I look back as a kid going, oh, that was God. And I didn't know it was God until I made a decision to follow him and then could look back over my life. But I don't know, if I were to look back at my childhood, it was very evident. And this may sound strange, but it was that God cared about me and wanted to be my friend from the very beginning. And there were just so many cases where the Lord helped me as a little girl, or I would go outside and feel something that I couldn't explain, and I'd be just looking up at the sky and would feel what I now recognize as the presence of God, but I didn't know it then. And so he's always been my friend and close to me. And then I made that decision to follow him, and then really knew, oh, this is who's been with me this whole time. And then of course I went through some stuff in middle school, just really unsure of who I was. Didn't have a great friend group, which kind of led into high school, not having a great friend group. Now, I will say two of the things that saved me was I had parents who prayed for me, a mom and a grandmother who prayed for me pretty consistently, and a good church community. There are people still that I love and respect and are in my life that were my youth leaders during that time. And in middle school and early on in high school, my freshman year, when I was deciding if I was gonna live out what I actually had agreed to with the Lord.
Now, I like that. What you agreed to with the Lord. I think a lot of times we don't have that concept that following Jesus is a covenant, right?
Yeah.
And there's things that you are agreeing to. I'm not following this. I'm following you. I'm not doing this. It's like a marriage, right?
Right.
Everyone else, I'm saying no to everyone else so I can say yes to you.
Yes. And I think, I don't know, there was always just, my mom did a good job of presenting it, but also I think I just knew that this wasn't about Jesus making me feel good or just this person that I need help from sometimes. I really was entering into a commitment. And because he had been my friend, recognizing that this was a relationship that was taking place, not just a feeling that I had. And so in middle school, it was am I going to really follow Jesus and live up to what I said? and he's the one that's in charge of my life, or I'm going to basically bow to the idol of what people think of me. And I spent my middle school years and my first year in high school just really lost, just trying to figure out who I was, not willing to completely let go of God, because that wasn't an option for me. And he held on to me. But I was also in church community with people that were willing to call me out and help me and things like that. Your friend groups really do matter, because that made a huge difference in the decisions and choices that I was making. And I remember my mom, it was at the end of my freshman year. It had been a really rough year. I had all older friends, and so consequently got in trouble doing older friend things. They were all seniors and I was a freshman. My mom pulled me out of the public school that I was in, and we were like so broke, guys. There was no way that we were in a different tax bracket, you know what I'm saying? Like the lower tax bracket. And my mom wanted me to go to a private Christian school, which we did not have the money for that. There was no way that was happening. But she knew somebody that worked on staff at the school, and she agreed to barter my tuition by being the school janitor 3 nights a week so that I could go to school there for free. And my mom did that the entirety of sophomore through senior year. I graduated from a Christian school, but she put me in a different environment. And I would say my sophomore year of high school, I really recommitted my life to the Lord. My freshman year ended really rough. I'd made some pretty poor choices, not terrible, but poor for me and for my life, and it had hurt my family, and I just knew that I needed the Lord to fix that. And so I lost all of my friends. I mean, like, my whole life changed, guys. And then I was in this new school with kids that had gone to school with each other since they were 2, and so everybody knew everybody. I knew nobody, but God really used that season of my life to develop me in my faith. And then I was surrounded by people who did love God, and they did help me grow. And that became the moment when I said, no, I'm really doing this. And from that point on, I would say my relationship with God was like, it skyrocketed past that point. So,
if you're a parent watching this, I want you to think about 2 things. Number 1, make the extra lube. That actually, like, when the conversation's in, like, just go. Like, we'll talk about it later. No, this is the moment to have that conversation. And I would say the other thing is, like, doing whatever it takes to put your kid in the environment that they need, whether it's taking them to youth, whether it's getting them to a conference, whether it's Christian school, whatever it is, like making the effort to, because it's not just you're the primary discipler of your teenager, but you also need to be surrounding them with the influences necessary in order to help that happen.
And I would say my mom, if she were to look at me during that point in time when she was taking me to church still, and I was involved in church still, but just struggling through middle school and that first year of high school. And I mean, the leaders in the church are watching me struggle and kind of flounder. And it's interesting because everybody else could see who I was supposed to be. And I did have a group of people that could see that about me. Like, this isn't actually who you are. This is quite a phase that we're in right now, but we're going to come out on the other side of it. Do find people in your kid's life who can see that.
And as a young Christian, are you surrounding yourself with people who can call that out of you, who can see that in you, and who can also can help you, right?
Yeah.
Can help you with, hey, this isn't really who you are. And speak into your life and who God has called you to be. Surround yourself with these people.
And I bet for my mom in that season, I mean, I can't speak 100% for her, but I mean, even with some of the conversations I had with youth leaders during that time and stuff, it was one of those seasons where it looked like we don't know which way Liana's going to go. We don't know what she's going to end up choosing. We don't know, here's what we think about her, and what she can be, but this is where she is right now. And I would say to any parents that are watching, be a parent who prays. Like, I mean, honestly, and my mom would freely admit this, she didn't do everything right. No parent can. But one thing she did do right was pray for me constantly, over and over and over. My mom has whole journals that she said she'll give to me when she goes home to glory, that were prayers that were written for me. And she has a Bible where majority of the verses in it were verses she prayed over me and things like that. So be that type of parent, because I mean, my life is the fruit of a mother who prayed. And so it matters that you pray for your kids, even if it looks hopeless. If you're like, I'm taking them to this conference and they're still the worst. I take them to church and they are still making terrible decisions. God hears your prayers, and not one of them is wasted or in vain.
Yeah, and I know some of you might be like, well, I'm not a parent. Like, why does it matter? No, but one day you will be.
Yeah.
One day you will be. And one of the wisest things that you can do is to get understanding and knowledge for the future of what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
So, cool. Now you know our story.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do one more.
Okay. How do you know if God is calling you to an area of life?
Okay. How do you know God is calling you to an area of life? There's a lot of ways. And I think that's one of the reasons why you need to have people in your life to help you navigate, to help you see wisdom, to help you process, because there's a lot of different ways that God will do it. Sometimes it's just where you are right now is what he's calling you to. And you running away from it because you want something different is not going to be helpful. Sometimes it's going to be an opportunity that pops up that you weren't expecting. And you seek the Lord and you get wisdom and you're like, yeah, this is the direction. Sometimes it's going to be something that God puts on your heart that you just can't shake. I would say like the app for me is like that. It's like I've actually tried to shake it a lot of times, doing this YCU app and everything like that, where I've actually told the Lord, like, please, if you're not in this, just tell me so I can stop and go do something else.
Yeah.
But I just can't shake it. It just stays. And
that's how going into youth ministry was for me.
Yeah, and so I would say the closer your friendship is with God, and the more you're in the Word, because the Word helps you discern the Spirit of God moving, because it's a Spirit that is in the Word, and it's a Spirit that is speaking to you. And the closer you are a friend with God, the more you're not just wondering, like, it's not transactional. So you're not just like, God, I need you to give me an answer about something quick, versus going like, I'm in a constant conversation with my friend, and he's talking to me and leading me and guiding me and directing my steps. It says the steps of a good man are ordered by God, right? He's ordering you. And so, and I would say, stop freaking out about getting it wrong. I know this is like the culture we live in. What if I make the wrong decision? You might. And I say this, there's not that many decisions that you're going to make. There are some, but there's not that many decisions that you're going to make that you can't come back from.
Yeah.
Right? Not saying there's none, but there's a lot. You could go to the wrong, quote unquote, wrong college, and is it kind of a long journey back and kind of, yeah, but you could go to a different college.
You could pick a career.
You could pick a career and then do it. You could, I want to go.
You could marry the wrong person. Just kidding. You're stuck in that.
Yeah, that one's one of those ones. That one's one of those ones. Getting pregnant. That's
dark
one
humor.
of those ones. Transitioning your gender. That's one of those ones.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
That's tough.
There's certain things that you can do. There's no coming back from. So, there's no, here's the one thing to do.
Yeah.
It's community. It's relationship with God. It's being in the Word. It's being willing to say yes.
Yeah. I would say too, sometimes I think we're all looking for this, like, the clouds have parted moment.
Yeah.
So much of your life is just not going to be that. So much of your life is going to be pretty basic. You know what you are called to do? Work.
Yep.
Work is biblical. Does that mean you're called to work at your retail job your whole life? No. And it's fine that you're going to seek out a different career, something that you enjoy doing. But you are called to work. You are called to love people well. There are just going to be certain things about your life that don't necessarily have to be like the clouds parted and the sun came down and I just knew for sure. There are very basic things about life that we're all supposed to do. And sometimes I think we spend a lot of our life looking for a particular calling, and we miss out on like the everyday kind of mundane things that God gives us to do that actually create a great amount of success in our lives. I don't know that people always see having a good marriage as a calling, but I do. I want to have a good marriage. And I would say anything that would carry over on the other side of eternity, the things that you do here, lean into those things, invest in those things. And I think a lot of times this question is asked in regards to like career, future, things like that. Again, being in community, being in the Word. Yes, those are absolutely vital. I would say as far as like career and your future goes, sometimes we're looking for like that open heavens moment from God, like this is everything I'm called to do. And sometimes you will get that as far as your career is concerned. But there are other ways that God gives you to figure this out. You probably have natural giftings and abilities, things that you might be naturally drawn to. If God has made you a creative individual, lean into that and see what that might look like as far as providing for yourself and a family for the future, and what kind of career could allow you to use your giftings and your abilities. And sometimes we don't want to take the time to figure that stuff out. Sometimes we don't like the amount of work that comes with developing a calling. Sometimes we think a calling is just going to be easy, and actually a calling is what you're willing to lay your life down for. It's not always going to be easy. So I think those are things to consider as well.
Yeah. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it. But God has something for you.
Yeah.
And so step into that thing. Step in. Each opportunity is an opportunity to see what you like, what you don't like, what you're good at, what you're not good at, right? Mm-hmm. So take advantage of the opportunities God puts in front of you, and just keep saying yes to Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, we have parked and we're just walking in. Here we go. Woo! It's cold. It's cold. Oh, and you hit the light. Waiting.
It's that coastal air.
I know. Does it smell fresh? What does it smell like?
Grocery outlet. Bargain market.
Never seen a 2-story Jack in the Box. 2-story Jack?
It's a lot of calories.
A lot of Jack.
And seed oils.
I feel like we should just
And
walk this.
fake meat.
I feel like we should just go after this guy. Come on. Let's go. Oh, it's going anyway.
I feel like we should go when it says go.
Breaking all kinds of rules. I like our... Oh, yeah. There's our destination. Right over there.
You assume that's what you showed them. They either just
I'm
looking
pretty
at
sure.
that tree.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. What's up? Woo!
2026. We are so excited that you're here with us tonight. I'm Pastor David. This is my wife, Erin, and we just want to say welcome. Thank you for being here. We love you guys so much.
That breathes air. Whether you follow Jesus or not, you will go through storms in this life. That Jesus does not promise us a perfect life. Jesus never promises us a storm-free life. There are times when Jesus leads me around a storm, and there are other times Jesus leads me right through a storm. And I want to say this to you, young person, because I have seen so many young people shipwreck their faith because they get surprised that deciding to follow Jesus comes with some storms.
Preach.
And they buy into this little Disney Channel gospel that says follow God and you're going to have butterflies your whole life. And it's not biblical. Matter of fact, Jesus, he said, in this life, you will. Like, what does you will mean? It means you will have many trials and tribulations. But he says, take heart, for I've overcome the world. I have overcome it. You don't know this stuff. Come on.
All right, folks. We had a great time last night. It's the morning. We're going to go get some coffee with our friends David and Erin. And we're driving through San Francisco.
It's cloudy. It's
Yes.
foggy.
With a
Yesterday
chance
it was
of
sunny. It's
Yeah.
lovely.
But I mean, it's the morning time.
That's true.
So it's probably
It'll
it'll probably
all burn
clear
off
up.
by like 2.
Wow, that guy thinks just because he has a Tesla, he can run.
He made it.
Dang it.
Mostly through the intersection.
I really wanted it to get him.
Oh.
You ever really want somebody to like get hit by the red light just so you could be vindicated? No, come on. You know that's true. You're watching, you're like, ooh, you're gonna hit that, and they make the yellow light. You're like, oh, God. Which then on the flip side makes you go, if I had gone that speed, I could have made it too.
So like right there.
Oh, I knew that. I just figured it was close.
Bulgarian sandwich market. Huh.
Bulgarian or Bulgarian?
It says Bulgarian. Sorry, that says blue grain sandwich market.
So what country are you from? Blue grain. Bluegrania.
My brain literally just said Bulgaria. I don't know. We're in San Francisco, a melting pot of cultures, okay?
That is true. That is
It
true.
wouldn't be that off-brand for them to have a Bulgarian sandwich shop.
No, it would not. It'd be quite on.
Join the revolution.